Hey, it's MK, and I am here with another Kit Conspiracy layout for you guys today. I am going to be using, well, I brought in this trim one last time to see if I can use this trim, but I am using week one's kit still. We are on week one, and this is actually us going into the cave. And then on the other side will be pictures of the cave in its entirety. And then I plan on putting a pocket page in between this double page layout that is going to be like more close-ups of the caves. Now I plan on matting my photos with this one-way orange paper. I pulled out my my favorite plaid paper of this collection. I think I'm going to use it all, you guys. I don't think I'm going to try to save any pieces or anything. I think I'm going to use it. And then I pulled out this wood grain one more time, and I think I think I'm going to end up using all of it as well. So it's from No Limits and called Big Bang because of this giant star on the back. But you know me, I am going to use the wood grain. I also have two pieces of close to my heart white cardstock, or I think Stampin' Up! Calls it Willow White. I think that's what their name is. And then I brought back this Faded Jean Distress ink with the stencil yet again because it kind of seems to be the theme. But I also think I'm going to end up with a lot of white space on this layout where I will more or less like to feather that white space out and put it behind some of my photos. All right, so now that my photos are matted, you guys know I'm going to probably end up distressing these photos, but I need to figure out how I want them to go on my double page layout. And sometimes I leave that part out. So what I do is I lay them across with my desk being has a dark line or a thicker line that says this is your halfway point. And so I use that to determine where the middle of my two pages are going to be. And then how many pictures do I want on my left? How many pictures do I want on my right? And then I just start playing with it. I start laying out my pages, my pictures, all that good stuff to see what the design is going to look like. How is the papers? It's a process that I choose to leave out just because of the fact that I think it's very boring. I don't know if you guys are going to like it or not, or even want to see it. So I usually end up leaving that process out. And, you know, once I get to a certain point, that's when I turn my camera on and, oh, yay, here it is all done. Like the decision making is over and I can move on. The decision making does make for a longer video. I did speed it up a little bit when it came to moving the pictures around microscopically because that's what I do. But I do like leaving little corner pieces in my pictures so that way you can see some of the paper or even some of the cardstock behind. So like you can see, the pictures that aren't attached to anything, like the thermometer that's in the cave and then the side of the cave wall, I don't have them touching and butted up next to all of the pictures. I have some of the pictures overlapped, but then some of the pictures have that little 1/8 of an inch gap so you can see beyond it. So I'm going to distress all of my papers and then all of my pictures as well. But right now I'm going to put pencil lines around where my pictures are going to kind of stick out and stay. So that way I can do a little bit of the stenciling and only stencil around my pictures. I really am disappointed when I pretend like I know what I'm doing and I stencil, and then it turns out that I didn't stencil enough. And then it's like, oh, darn, I just covered up all that stencil work. And 9 times out of 10, it ends up like, oh, well, I guess I'll just pretend like I didn't even stencil. So I've gotten into the habit of actually outlining everything. And then that way I know that I'm doing just the right amount of stencil work. Plus, I don't waste a bunch of stenciling behind the photo because some inks, and I don't own any, but some inks actually don't stick well with our double-sided tape, especially the tape runners. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's just because they stay wet longer, and it might be the pigment inks and the fact that they're just still wet. But I have come across just a couple inks in my life. I don't own any. I think I got rid of those inks actually. But yes, they stay wet just long enough to where you can't move fast enough to get, your layout done. And that's me. I like to I like to move fast and get my layout done quickly. And if the ink takes a day to dry, I'm not interested. And so, so I don't own those types of inks. But anyways, if you do ink the whole area, just know that it might take a bit for it to dry, and that your adhesive might not stick to it right away, that you have to be patient and wait for it to dry. All right, on a side note, it is very cold again in my area. We enjoyed our sunshine for the 3 days that we had it, but it's back to our fourth winter, so we're back down. 30s and 40s is where we are back down to again, and it is very cold, especially in my garage. I mean, I have a heater. It works perfectly fine, but every now and then I get a chill, and I can't shake it. I don't know what's wrong with me, but that's what happens. So, and I'm okay with that. If you guys are okay with my sleeves and my little gloves that I wear. So anyways, I'm just going to go ahead. I loved these little circles because it reminded me of, and forgive me if I don't know the exact words and terms and whatnot, but the locals that used to use these caves and live in these caves, the natives, I think is the correct terminology. I don't remember the exact group of people. I don't remember their names, you guys. I do apologize for that. Just like Mono Lake had its own group of people that were native to Mono Lake that used to live there and whatnot back in the day. The same with these caves. I don't remember who lived here, but I felt very native and whatnot. And so I thought these circles were a good representation of that, of being native and having that, not painted rock. What are they called? When you see the art inside caves, the cave paintings. Oh my gosh. This is proof that I've done too many voiceovers in one day. But it just reminded me of cave paintings. And I really wanted to use that giant piece of paper that has the same design in the mandala, that's almost like 11 inches big. That I thought for sure that was going to be my first piece of paper that I used. And of course I didn't. Look at me go. So instead I ended up using the smaller versions, and I'm going to have them be just circular elements all over. And then I thought these pictures were perfect to bring in all these little numbers, because when the archaeologists came in, and every time that they found something, they had to mark it at what depth they found it, what day they found it, all that stuff. And they put them on these little tags, these little round tags, and then kind of push pinned them in the walls, in the lining of the walls. And so I thought, oh my gosh, these little labels are absolutely perfect for all of these little numbers that came in the Made of Awesome little die cut pack that I had. So I'm going to try to incorporate them as if they were like little enamel dots. So I'm using some of my wood tabs as well as my wood stars. I decided to go with the solid stars as opposed to any of the open stars because I really I thought I was going to color them, and then I decided not to because I like it open like it is. All right, so I've got all of my embellishments the way that I want them and how they look, and how I like them to look. So I'm going to go ahead and just distress the edges of all of these little numbers. Now, one of the things about this cave was it was actually excavated in, sorry. I just got an Amber Alert. Those are always so sad. But anyways, one of the this specific cave, it was excavated back in the late 70s, early 80s, And normally what they would do is they would backfill these caves, so nobody goes in and disrupts them and whatnot after they are done cataloging and being done researching these caves and finding all that they think they found. And instead of doing that, the archaeologists actually donated this to the museum and thought that it would be very informative to tell everybody about the caves and bring tours and whatnot. So it was donated, this cave was donated to the Natural History Museum in Fallon, Nevada. And so they do tours. I believe twice a day they do tours. No, not twice a day. The second and fourth Saturdays is when they do tours, unless it's on a holiday. But it's very helpful. It shows how deep these caves actually were before they started filling with sand, and all the different things. I mean, there's tags all over this cave. This just shows one little section of it. My other photos that will go in between these two pages shows multiple more of everything that they found in this cave marked by a tag. Like, we don't actually get to see the artifact. Some of the artifacts are in the museum, but all we see are the tags, and each tag represents something that the archaeologists found, represented to the natives that lived in these caves or used these caves at one point in time. And it's just such a cool thing to think of, and it would have been awesome to be a part of this. I was just being born, so I couldn't be, but it would have been cool to be a part of this excavation, and especially so close to home. But I think it's awesome that they want people to know what's out there, or what was out there, especially when it just looks like a desert when you look at it, in all honesty. So anyways, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I had a blast talking about my hidden caves this week. I do have one more layout to talk about, but please be sure to check out all of the Facebook group links that I have down below. Kit Conspiracy has its own group, and then of course Janet has a group as well as I have a group. But also don't forget to check out Janet Fritz's channel. She is Galaxy Girl Creations here on YouTube, and then she also has a Facebook group in the same name, because she's my partner in Kit Conspiracy. We came up with this, her left brain and my right brain. We came up with Kit Conspiracy and how we can share how to use the same product in many different ways. That was the whole point of Kit Conspiracy, and it's been very fun, especially with our two unique styles. So anyways, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will check you guys all later. Bye.